Hey, this video, this lesson is about memory. I'm a just title that memory. Simple. Now, we have memory. Uh, just basic. You have memory, just like your computer has a memory. It only holds so much. You got to clear up some, unnecessary stuff to store more important stuff. You know. Uh, but the thing is, like I said, you got to clear up that memory, the unnecessary bullshit. You know, you're not going to remember everything. You're not going to forget everything. But what helps you to remember? Because we're here, we and E done put a number on us. It's so easy for us to forget stuff. You know why? Because we rely on these smartphones to store this data. I remember I used to know my best friend's phone number by heart, and actually I still do, and I can say it out loud because number don't exist no more. I'll leave out 2 digits, but it was 3 517 784 90. Odd number, odd number. I remember it. I remember it to this day. I still remember it. My best friend. You want to know why I remember it? Because he was my best friend in this world. He did things for me that no person had ever did to that point. And we related to one another. So, with that, now I want to move in a little kind of into the spiritual component of memory. How do you remember? How do you remember something? How do you forget? You forget something when you haven't went over something in a while. You have, let's say, you might remember your times table. You'll forget it if you haven't did it in a while. You might remember off your top of your head what 6 times 6 is. 36. You might forget after a while if you ain't doing it all the time, or if it's not stable in your head, like 8 times 7 or 4 times 12. And then you're okay, yeah, you remember. You ride a bike, you don't really forget it, but you get a little rusty, then you back to your good habits and your executing everything well after a while. You know, your so that's how you forget, is when you haven't done something in a while. How you remember something is when you study. When you go into school, you take an exam. You got a lot of stuff that you got to cram information. And how do you attain all that information that you're trying to cram? The only way you can do it one way. There's no other way. It's only one way. Is you have to study it. And to study something means to meditate on it. So a lot of times your memory is a reflection on what you're studying and what you're meditating about. Now this is where the lesson is going to shift a little bit. Now this deals with that old man that we got to put off. That old man and how it pertains to memory. This old man woke up, came out the world, still got some old ways to us. That old man, it's natural. It's a natural thing when you are offended to remember everybody who's offended you, to remember how you were offended, who offended you, the day you were offended, how you felt. People can remember that to a T. But what comes unnatural is when you remember all of the good things that was done for you, all the mercies that's been given to you. A person can remember, oh yeah, man, this person did that to me, that person did that, this. Can you remember all the times maybe that same person, or if not that same person, another person looked out for you? You were thirsty. The person gave you a bottle of water. You were short 12 cents. That person gave you 8 cents. That put you that much closer. Do you remember when a person, when you was late and a person stayed behind for you? The natural man doesn't remember stuff like that. In fact, that's why when it comes to the Bible, we are told to remember Egypt when we were delivered. Because Jake got a tendency to forget. Yeah, the Most High, he delivered us from Egypt. Remember all his good works. Remember all the good things you had. Yeah, you remember when you get your ass whooped, when you went to slavery, when you went all this other stuff. Yeah, because you were traumatized. So yeah, it's going to be, easy to remember that. But what all about the miraculous times we pressed and saved you and saved you out of stuff? All the testimonies that you have, testimonies that other people have. Remember the good stuff too. The good stuff about a person. When you look at another brother, and again, it's natural to look at all a brother's flaws. When you sit down and you look at and examine your thoughts, have you said more negative things about that brother than positive things? And now I ask you, is that brother more negative than positive? Because if he is, then it makes sense that you've said more negative things about him than positive things. But if that brother's more positive than negative, how is it that you've only said negative things about him? You want to know how? You want to know why? That's because all you was thinking about was negative stuff about him. You wasn't looking about the Yahweh Shai in that brother, all these good qualities, these good characteristics. That old man is not programmed by E's system in this matrix to look at all the good qualities of a person. We programmed to look at all the bad qualities. What happens when you're dating a woman and everything's going good? She starts looking for bad stuff. Oh, this is too good to be true. She starts looking for bad stuff. And she'll make up some stuff in her head. Man, I'll tell you another thing. You will have some people who will create false memories about negative events that didn't even happen. Or an event that was controversial. And as time goes on, they'll put some type of negative twist and negative association that never happened, or create this weird timeline that didn't happen that somehow puts themselves as victims. And that happens a lot. People like to remember things or create things in their head that puts them as the victim and somebody else as the bad guy. Here it is. Let's say you had a disagreement with a brother and y'all didn't see eye to eye and y'all went y'all separate ways. And then how you remember it is that we had a disagreement. The brother didn't even salute me, didn't even look at me that day. And you genuinely start to believe that. You created a whole false memory and you created a whole grudge against a brother for no reason. Because he didn't do what you claimed that he did. It might have been some controversial there or some other stuff, but it didn't happen. You have a mass killer could go right now in a crowd and shoot a person in broad daylight with 50 witnesses. You're going to hear 50 different stories, and not just 50 different stories. You are going to hear conflicting stories about what happened. Oh, it was a tall guy. No, it was a short guy. He was bald-headed. No, he was white. No, he was black. You're going to hear so many different stories. Then after you piece through so many pieces, like, okay, everybody's saying he was tall. That seems common. Everybody's saying there's a lot more people saying he was black than white. Okay. All right. Black. Okay. And then you start to piece it together and use common sense. But you gotta, even if that means you gotta write down to remember something, you gotta and focus and study on that. Just like how you study a brother's flaws and you think so deeply and meditate on that brother's flaws, try meditating on that brother's good qualities. I bet you won't forget it because you're studying it. You don't forget stuff that you studied. You will remember to a T a brother's bad qualities. And sometimes even not even necessarily bad qualities, just qualities that's irrelevant, that have nothing to do with bad or good. It's just a habit or a hobby that the brother does that you just know to a T. That maybe a brother, he always wear orange shoes on the first of Saturdays, and he don't even realize it, and it was just really an anomaly. And then you catch him, he wearing different colored shoes. Just some stupid stuff because you sitting there and being assertive and focusing on something that has nothing to do with nothing. When you could have used that time to have your eye single, paying attention to this other stuff that's more relevant. Overthinking and over analyzing stuff. That mind is something you got to rebuke those thoughts. You got to rebuke those thoughts. Man, you have a person, and you think about a particular person, and if you haven't seen them in a while, and you miss them, what happens when you miss them? You start thinking about all the good things, but you don't start up thinking about all the good things until that person isn't there. Then it's natural to think about only the positive things. But you don't have to wait for a brother to leave and for you to miss him to meditate about all his positive traits. That's why I say you don't know what you got till it's gone, because you don't sit here and think about and meditate about all the person's good qualities until they left, until they're not there. You took it for granted. Same way if you injured your pinky, you don't realize how much you use it until it's gone. You can't, either you stabbed it, you stubbed it and you hurt it, or it's in a cast, or it got cut off. Then all of a sudden you appreciate it when it's gone. Sometimes you got to give people flowers while they're here. Whether you tell them verbally or you sit back and meditate and think about all those good qualities about this brother. Sometimes you don't want to tell them all that. Sometimes you don't want to get that brother's head too big. But you should, if you can, part of fighting off this old man is by nature being able to study and meditate on brothers' good qualities as well as their bad qualities. That's balance. I'm not saying don't look at a brother's bad qualities. If he have them, he has them. And meditating on them will help you to, especially with prayer, figure out how to combat those evil spirits that's on that brother, so you can figure out how to rebuke it. Some brothers can't take rebuke. Some brothers can only take rebukes in certain ways. And you got to figure out how to rebuke those demons also. Sometimes you do got to meditate on a brother's negative qualities. Nothing bad about that. But it's a problem when you only meditating on the bad. Meditate on that brother's good qualities. You might be surprised about the good qualities this brothers have that you just never even saw. Yahushua talked to the 7 churches. He talked about the good stuff they did and the bad stuff that they did. That's balance. Aren't we all different members of the body? Well, you should be able to know. Oh no, it's not just something to base. Oh, this brother's good. You know, he comes to class. Just like how you study and get down to the nitty gritties of a brother's, negative qualities. Oh, this brother's got a problem. Brother's got a problem with women. This brother can't keep a job. This brother always does this. Every 5 months he leave a job. Get down to the specifics of that brother's good traits. Oh, that brother's, he's good in the Psalms. Or you will know that if you're not paying attention. Oh, that brother, he's really good at bringing precepts out pertaining to this specific topic, reincarnation. This brother's good with resumes. This brother's a good communicator. This brother's a good oracle. This brother is good with math or politics or understanding E's laws. Get to know the good qualities of the men that's around you as well. Make it, and if you can't think of any unique, shall I say, because everybody got unique weaknesses, everybody got unique strengths as well. If you can't think about any brother's specific unique talents and unique abilities, sit down and meditate until you can come up with something. And I don't say make some up, but till you can see them, shall I say. I hope this lesson has been edifying. This is weighing on my spirit. And on that note, I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders of GMS rule well. Peace, salutations, and shalom.